All right.
That's a cute picture of y'all.
Lemon.
All right. Well, good evening, everybody. I want to welcome everybody to Marriage Monday with Dr. Derren and Lady Chalon. We are so excited about this opportunity. We've taken a few weeks off just to kind of regroup. One of the things that we talk about on this podcast, especially with married couples, is the importance of being able to just kind of regroup and refresh so that we can just kind of be all that we kind of need each other to be, right? All right, so we want to welcome you to this time. You know that this podcast, Marriage Monday with Dr. Derren and Lady Chalon, it's really designed because we were tired of looking at the statistics continue to grow on couples. And so the statistics show, you all already know it, the statistics is 1 out of every 2 couples, their relationship will end in divorce. And I was tired of doing crisis counseling sessions, trying to get people to work through their issues. And so we thought, you know what, why not spend some time? Everybody is on Facebook, and in the middle of this, we're in the middle of a pandemic and an epidemic all at the same time. So if everybody is already home and everybody, 2.6 billion people on Facebook, why don't we do a podcast? And so that is how Marriage Monday was birthed. And we just came off of the month of October. We did some interesting times speaking with some people about pregnancy loss month. And it was amazing to me the numbers of people that have lost pregnancies to miscarriage. And so we know October to be breast cancer awareness month and domestic violence awareness month. And so we decided to get away from all of that, and we decided to just kind of talk about pregnancy loss awareness. And so we spent that time in the month of October. And so now we want to just kind of talk and welcome in our good friends for our series. We're starting a new series over the next few weeks, leading up to the first of the year. And it's under the banner theme, we've been married a year and we're still standing. Some people will have been married 2 years. I even have a couple that's coming on. They've been married 8 years, but we're excited about it. And so tonight, I want to welcome in Mr. and Mrs. Keontae and Janine Hazelton. They are, woo! You know what I'm gonna do as we get better with this, we gonna have bells and shakers and noise makers and stuff, so that when we introduce people, that we can just be really excited about it. But we are excited to have Keontae and Janine on. So welcome to Marriage Monday.
Welcome.
Thank you
for having us.
Yes. So what I want to do is I like all of our time on this medium, this broadcast. I like our time to be kind of free and flowing. I like people to be able to just kind of send us some messages. But ultimately, we recognize that marriage is work. Right. And anybody that's been married for 2 minutes recognize that it's work. I don't care how much we love each other. I don't care how much we attracted to each other. I don't care how much we like the way that, our spouse smell. I don't care about none of that. It is work. And so, we've got to just decide that we're going to do the work.
That's right.
Right. Did you hear her over here talking about, yes, it is.
That's right. Yes.
It's work. It is work.
And so what a lot of people don't get is they just think, you know what, trouble come, I'm out the door. I'm bouncing. I'm not dealing with this. And our parents and our parents' generations, they were such that I don't care what happened. I don't care what's going on. We just going to hang on in there, even to their detriment. We're going to just hang on in there. And so while I recognize that, there are some people, and even when we go to scripture, one of the things we don't do is we don't turn this into a Bible study, but there's some things that the Bible says it gives us reason to walk away. But unless we get to that reason, we really shouldn't walk away. So I'm excited about what makes people stay. So y'all are the newlyweds in the bunch. You all just celebrated a year. And so talk to me about, well, first of all, kind of catch us up and just kind of talk to us a little bit about your story. And then tell us from both of your vantage point, tell us how what was the exciting things that happened this year, and what were some of the things that made you, Janine, want bust Keontae over top of his head. Now I only want you to share what you want to share. This ain't no deep. We ain't trying to share our deep dark secrets on Facebook and YouTube. So whatever you want to share, whatever you feel comfortable with the world sharing.
You gonna tell the story, or you want me to tell the story?
I think you should tell the story.
Oh my gosh.
I just knew you was gonna jump in and say, you know what? I probably should start us off, but you passed the ball, and I'm cool.
Because we like, as you said, we weren't prepared, so this is all off the cuff.
And that's what we want. We wanted to be off the cuff. We just having a conversation, and everybody else is peeping in from a peripheral.
Got it.
Okay. So, I mean, technically, we met on social media. That is how we were introduced to one another, like through like an interest group.
Okay.
That was for 35 and older people. And so sometimes they would have like little social gatherings within the group. I guess now with COVID, that will be a little bit more difficult, but that's how we initially met and were introduced to one another. And then for a couple months in the group, we could see about each other and learn about interests and I guess about each other's personalities before we actually started communicating directly to each other.
Okay. All right. So wait a minute. So online situations really do work.
They do. I think that you'll find that a lot of situations now are derived or actually happen from social media, and technology brings people together.
So were y'all concerned and nervous, and was there some anxiety about that whole piece? Because we watch too much Criminal Minds, and on Criminal Minds, all this stuff people online, and then it's serial killers. So what about that process made you all feel comfortable?
Well, I know for me, the same way social media and kind of meeting through like dating online, it brings people together. There's pros and cons to it. I think that you can find a lot more about people nowadays with technology and with social media, because you kind of get to see, like Janine said, how we would post certain things. So you kind of get an idea of how that person thought, or if they can even put a sentence together. You can kind of see what type of friends they have. So I think for me, I had a pretty good idea, at least on the surface, of who Janine was before we actually started dating.
Okay. All right. Very good. Very good. So how long did the courtship last?
Over a year before we were engaged. Yeah, over a year.
Over a year. We probably it was a little longer than that.
But it wasn't 2 years yet.
Yeah, because my buddies, they tease me. They be like, everybody felt like we just met and we just got married.
Right.
Combined, we've been dating. We were dating for at least almost 3 years before we actually got married. And some people get hitched after 3 months.
Yeah.
Right.
In our culture, because of my friends that know me well, they felt like, we moved kind of quick, at least for my pace.
So how did you balance out the noise? Like, how did you get rid of the noise and not be consumed? Because one of the things that we'll just kind of talk about is outside influences, and how outside influences in the first year will destroy relationships. So how were you all able to just kind of, get rid of the noise, so to speak, to decide, this is really what we want, and we're going to move forward with it regardless of, any of the craziness that you hear?
So you want?
I'll go first, and then I want to
Okay.
hear your response.
Okay.
You're talking about your friends.
Okay.
But I think we're both very just like headstrong, opinionated, and like I would say independent thinkers. So like everyone around me can tell me that something isn't a good idea or they don't think I should try XYZ. But one thing about me is that I have a mind of my own, and I've been like that since a very like a young child.
Uh-huh.
So it's not really too much that a person can say to me aside from like if it has something to do with jeopardizing my safety or health or something like that. Like when it comes to like being a positive person and the influences that I have, the greatest influence comes from above. So people that care about me, they'll know that I'm a smart person or that I'm making a choice that wouldn't be harmful to me or to my daughter. So those type of people, I don't know, I just don't really let negativity influence what I have going on in my life. And I think I've been pretty good. Like I think that the successes or the achievements that I have is because I just follow what my goals and what my dreams are, as opposed to what other people have expectations of me for them to be.
Got it. So look, full disclosure for our viewers, we know each other. We have relationship. I actually did you all and Chalon and I walked you all through your premarital counseling journey, and we stood there with you on your wedding day. So I want y'all to know that we are we feel like the proud parents. Like I am so excited and so happy about everything that is happening with you guys. So when you look at y'all, you know, there's been a lot. I mean, y'all done stepped out there. Y'all have taken some faith risks, and you all have just kind of seen the favor of God on your lives over the past year. So we see all of the glory. But tell us about some of the challenges and, you know, some of those things that, you know, recognize that we have people watching right now that's probably been married a few. One of the things that I've tried to do is to only have people watch and view this podcast who are married, but you'd be surprised the numbers of people that I get messages from saying, you know, I watched that podcast and it was good, and they just as single as the day is long. So, so what do you say to engaged couples or persons who are thinking about getting married, about what you all did to still be standing after a year? So is it safe to say that in this year, there's been some challenges, or there's been some hiccups, or, you know,
yeah.
Okay. All right, cool. So how were you all able to kind of manage through? And then I'm gonna share a little bit about what the studies show. And then I want to say, if you have a question, feel free to just hit us up on Facebook. Go ahead and send us in a question. If you're still standing, I want you to throw in a question. So talk to us a little bit. And Keontae, I really want to hear your perspective. And so if you would start, I want to hear your perspective on how you're still standing and how you were able to manage through the hiccups.
I think for me, the hiccups, it hasn't been between the two of us. It's been primarily kind of the outside challenges.
Okay.
And, you know, when I really kind of rationalize like things that are affecting our marriage and dissect the source, it makes it easy to say, you know what, it's not necessarily us. It's all of these things on the outside and just the devil just trying to work its way in to our union. So I'll say that, you know, other than that, there's nothing that's been crazy, you know, with us that has made it a concern, you know. And I'll keep saying it, you know, people like you and Chalon have been married for such a long time. You look at a year, you like, it's all a year, and that's just perfectly normal. But you counseled us, you and Chalon, and you know what you see is genuine.
Right.
We don't really have anything that's complicated or any deal breakers between the two of us.
Uh-huh.
I don't really see nothing on the outside affecting us to a point that we're thinking about separating. So
okay,
when I look at that, and then I look at it as being simple.
Okay. All right.
That's
Janine,
cool.
now he want everybody to know that he's educated. He did graduate from the University of Maryland, Eastern Shore.
Yes.
So we get that. So Janine, take us around the corner to the alley.
So he pretty much answered along the lines of how I would answer, but he's not specifically stating that the outside forces have to do with when you have a blending family.
Yeah.
So blending a family is very challenging at times. And again, you don't have control over all the circumstances of blending a family because yes, we're fine. Yes, we are mature. Yes, we're happily ready to welcome everyone into our home and build one nice, lovely family. But sometimes there are external forces that you don't have control over that will make that transition more challenging.
Right. And so that's where I want to stay right there for a minute. So then when you had those kind of challenges, you all blended your families together. Both of you had kids. And so you're blending your families together. And so with that, having to deal with other people, there's always the potential if we are not aware of it. And one of the great things I think that you all did was you all kind of created a plan and attacked the beast before the beast tried to attack you. So you went into it already understanding that this could potentially be a problem. And so this is going to be our problem solving regimen. Y'all remember that word? Our problem solving regiment. And so we got to kind of have this ready so that, so what did you all do? Because, clearly what you've done, it has worked and is working. So what would you say to people that's viewing that just kind of have those blended family challenges?
Well, I'll go. I think
that
I think, just having, like you said, having that foresight to kind of understand what you're dealing with and trying to almost expect the issues before they arise so that when they do come, we would actually sit and talk and say, look, we kind of knew that once this happened, this would happen. So it's not us that are at odds, or I'm not frustrated or upset with you. It's the things that we knew was coming. So guess what? We don't have no beef. I'm upset because of X, Y, and Z. We talk about it. We're transparent about everything. And then from that, we just kind of put that behind and then continue to focus on what's the most important thing.
Got it. Okay.
And I would add to that like the main thing is that we focus on moving, acting, speaking, and just trying to be everything, like walking the walk or walking the talk. So like we speak love. We try to like lead our life with, okay, how would this make me feel? Or if this was the situation, we always we try to step outside of our role in the situation and be more objective or be fair and be honest and just try to lead with love. That's really, I think, how we have been able to maintain and sustain the challenges that we don't necessarily have control over.
Very good. Awesome. Very good. Very good. So there are a whole bunch of research and studies. One of the things that I have been able to just kind of pin, I think that marriage works when people get married for the right reason, and they go through a season talking about in advance, talking about the good, the bad, and the ugly. Right. And I think that we did that with you guys. So there's a whole bunch of research that just kind of talks about some of the things that cause people to just kind of run into some roadblocks, so to speak. So I'm gonna throw it out there, and then Chalon, you start. But so we'll throw out a situation or one of the things that the research says that it's an issue that every couple that's been married at least a year face. So I'll throw it out there, and then we just gotta talk about what that means.
Because he's crazy.
I know, because I already know what these things are. Go ahead.
So the number one thing, and when I looked at this research, I was like, wow, these are even some of the reasons that people actually get divorced. Right. So not just facing it within your first year and beyond. The first one is money and finances.
So how y'all feel about that? Did y'all ever have any concerns or frustrations about money that just kind of wanted to take y'all over the edge?
Well, not over the edge, because one thing that he always says is know who you married. So he knows that I'm Amazon princess.
Okay.
we we always, like he said, we have a lot of transparency. So like we have at least like quarterly or every couple months, we have budget meetings and we talk about, like, we actually sit out and like have spreadsheets and talk about income versus what our expenses are. And we have savings accounts, and we just like the money situation. Money can get tight. It's a pandemic. People can lose jobs. People can have a lot of issues, health, whatever, bills, credit. But when we first met, he asked me to see my credit report, not my credit score. That's who I'm dealing with over here. So,
so I want to go on record and say that I am so excited and so happy just to hear that. Like so many people they were good students. They got spreadsheets and had budget.
We listen.
Yes, y'all. That's what I'm talking about. That's what
awesome.
I'm talking about.
Because so many people don't, and she has her account over here, he has his account over here, and they'll put money together in a joint account just for bills. I'm gonna put this much in for this bill, and so it's refreshing to hear a young couple say that no, we sit down, we discuss our finances, and we're open about it, because so many people aren't. Because I know growing up, my mother and my aunts always told, no, honey, you always have your own. You have your own account. Now I do have my own account.
I had to debunk that theology because we not doing.
But he sews into that account. That's my account for my, my little things that I like, my little shopping, my nails, my eyebrows, that kind of thing. But he sews into that account. So, but
what about the people that's watching that don't know what it means to sew into it?
Well, he puts money in the account for me to do what I want to do.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. So, but when you grow up, in a time where, your mother, she was just like, oh no, honey, you always have your own account that he don't know about. And I still to this day have family members who have separate, have their own separate account that their spouse doesn't know about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I'm not going to give a long answer, whatever, but you're always going to hear me say transparency. Transparency with any question that you ask, that you're going to ask. The transparency for us has been so clear. And if I can say that for anyone, if you can be transparent, that's always going to be part of the solution to every issue.
Well, what happens if I can't be? What happens if I'm afraid or a little nervous about what the response of my transparency will be? How would you handle that?
Well, you got to know how you finish that. What I always tell you.
Know who you marry.
And what else? No, you got to know what to do with the information once you get it. Okay, so if you're asking for the truth, and that's another thing, if you're asking for the truth, and I think throughout transparency, how I think I always told her to kind of get her to be comfortable with being honest with me is that I know what to do with the information once you tell it to me.
Okay.
And the moment I prove that I can't handle it,
right.
Then you got an excuse to say, you know what? The last time you punched a hole in the wall when I told you that, I ain't telling you no more. So
okay. Gotcha. I like that. Good. I like it. I like that, Keontae Hazelton. Yeah, know what to do with the information. I like it. All right, what about in-laws?
Ooh.
Some people have serious issues in the first year managing through in-law drama because the in-laws become outlaws quickly. So did you all have any challenges in that area?
That's
I think that I had, and I think they was just reservations, just skepticism with her mom. Rest in peace, Mama Gail. I think that, but once she got to know who I was, she got comfortable with me. It wasn't really an issue, and her dad, he wasn't an issue at all. So I think that we've been kind of fortunate in that area, at least for me.
But Lady Chalon, she mentioned the old-fashioned ladies and how the guidance would be: make sure you have your own. Never tell him how much you make or what your is. Shave off, some money. We don't know what you got. Like So not that my mom was ever saying or instructing like deception, but she was more or less like really old fashioned. So she just wanted to make sure, she wanted to vet you out and make sure you was a good guy.
Yeah.
He was protective. But for him, I think the reception initially was a little bit different because I guess he brought a nice lady around and then everybody liked me. Mm.
Yes.
No comment.
So, Janine, what is your thoughts about your in-laws?
His sisters are my sisters. They probably call me more than they call him.
Okay.
But his mom is my mom. His dad is my dad. Like I adore his family, all of them.
Very good. Very
Awesome.
good. Very good. All right. What about stop dating? So one of the things that happens is after they get the wife, then one of the things that the research shows is that they stop dating each other. Date nights fall apart. You do all that stuff to get them, and then after you get them, date night still happens the first couple of months, but then we miss a month. And even in this COVID environment, so one of the things that you all have had to do, you've had, we've been in the middle of COVID for 8 months now, going into the 9th month. And so you all had to kind of figure out how to still be creative, to keep the fire burning, how to still be creative, to still communicate. One of you working in the home, one of you working outside of the home. So talk a little bit about what you did to kind of still keep the fire burning. And did at some point the fire go out? Did y'all still date? Like what happened there?
I guess you want me to go. I think that Janine and I like the same things. We don't have these exciting we don't it don't take a lot to satisfy at least her. She's easy. She would just, if I would just stay up a little later and watch a movie with her, she loves that. As far as eating, we both love to eat. So whenever the food bully wants to eat, that's what we do. We eat great. Or we'll go out. It hasn't really been that hard. And I know that we young, but we also got married older, older in kind of the span of when people really get married, being in our late 30s, early 40s. So it's not a whole lot of ripping and running. Or at least that expectation isn't there from her for me to be that way or to take her places, because if it was, I would.
Or vice versa. Like I'm the homebody and I'll be the food bully because I like to eat and I like to eat good. But as far as the pandemic, we used to go to a lot of concerts or go to movies or go out more often. So I remember when at first, like maybe in the middle of the summer, I made a date night in the house and got candles, and we have like barn doors and we closed off and like made a little restaurant in our dining room. But like he said, we're both pretty like easygoing people. Like a date for us can be to go hiking. Like we don't really have to like our honeymoon was canceled and I was devastated about it. But like we don't have to go out to a fancy place and at a specific time to say that we're dating. I think we date each other all the time.
That's fabulous.
That's amazing. That's
now
great.
I will tell you, people are still traveling. I had some people that's in Jamaica right now. I FaceTime with them, and the island is open and it's doing real well. So if you all are ready to book that trip, just depends.
Chalon said.
I wanted to do Christmas in Mexico this year, and she shut it down. She's just like, no, we ain't doing it. But
I know a couple that came back from Jamaica, I want to say maybe a month ago, and it wasn't a good outcome by the time they got back. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, like it's just tough.
Well,
I guess you can catch COVID anywhere, but
you
just gotta be safe.
Right. I get it. I get it. All right. The next thing on the list is time management. That frustrates couples, and people are struggling with spouses that just take total advantage of time and don't manage time correctly. Any issues with y'all with time management? And I do just want to pause for a quick minute for all of our guests that are just joining us. Thank you so much for joining. We are sharing with Mr. and Mrs. Keontae Hazelton Our topic tonight is "It's been a year and we're still standing," and we are excited. In fact, the old people used to say that they are hyena happy and peacock proud. So that is our word for them tonight. We are hyena happy and peacock proud that in addition to them still standing, they are thriving.
Yeah.
So we're working through our list, talking about some of the things that the research shows is reasons why people do not make it. You know, one of the things we always say is that if you can make it through the first year, then pretty much you can make it. You know, anything over a year, sometimes you kind of know in that first year whether this thing gonna work or not. And you'd be surprised the numbers of crisis calls. In fact, I was late coming to this call tonight because I was dealing with a couple in crisis. So time management, no issues with time management.
I would say that there are some issues with time management. I wouldn't say that issues, but I would say that there's some room for growth.
Okay, opportunity. There's opportunity areas.
I think that's going to be. It's going to take a while, but again, nothing that I didn't know about. I know that I know who I married, but again, I know that that's listed as a big deal. But for me, it's not a huge deal. You know, some days are better than others, and I understand women are just that's kind of like in your DNA somewhere that you just.
I get it.
Certain things, so.
I was on time for this call.
What you say, Janae?
I was on time for this call.
You were,
and looking fabulous, might I add. All right, the next thing on the list is forgetting to check in, whereabouts. That just lends to trust. You know, trust issues. You know, are you where you say you gonna be? You know, if you tell me that you running down to the market to get some milk, you should be back. I shouldn't be trying to call to find you in an hour or get a tweet or a direct message from somebody saying, yeah, I just saw such and such. What you mean? Seeing them, you was just supposed to be down the street getting some milk. So what's your thoughts on the check-ins?
I don't know. That's tough because like a check-in, it's kind of like what he just said about transparency. Like if you have plans to go elsewhere after you go get the milk or you have errands to run, just say you have errands to run. I don't know, because I don't know if you operate in those type of, if you move like that, I don't know. Like I'm not trying to call you in 15 minutes and say, hey, you said you was going to the market. Why aren't you back yet? Like, I just don't want to have to.
You're not doing that. You're not doing that, Janae. I get it. I get it. Making assumptions. One of the things that the research shows that people, you know, it's frustrating is that they make assumptions. They think that you know, we've been married now for a minute, and so you just assume that you know what this person is thinking or what this person is feeling, when that's really not the case. All you have to do is just ask some questions. So what do you all think about assumptions?
I don't think I assume. I'm sitting up here like, assumptions?
You know him a long time, Dr. T, so
Yeah.
he doesn't make assumptions. He's a very vocal, and he will communicate his issues very clearly, very frequently if he has issues.
Very good. Very good. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right. What you got next?
You know, after a while, you know, when you go to school, they say you gain that freshman 15. So sometimes, you know, over time, you know, our bodies change and, you know, we might gain a little weight. How does that, you know, and I do know people who that has affected their relationship because their physical look has changed.
She being real nice after a year or going after 6 or 7 months. Now that you know that I got you, now I just let everything go, and that's just not cute.
Yeah.
So
I'm trying not to laugh, but you know him a long time, so I want him to speak, and then I'm gonna say an experience that I had with him about 6 months after we met.
Okay, all right.
Janine and I, and again, I'm not in no way are we perfect or whatever have you. You know, I said transparency. But Janine and I, we met, you know, kind of my punchline to kind of get in to talk to her was because she posted a picture of her in the gym.
Okay.
Yes, and I went in her inbox and was like, hey, you know, I work out too. Let's work out. And we've been working out ever since together, you know. So I don't, you know, we fall off together and we get focused together. And so far,
would you feel comfortable if you felt like Janine was kind of falling off and you wasn't liking what you were seeing? Are you comfortable saying, hey, babe, let's not eat that sub tonight. Let's get us.
I want you to, because I already know what you're going to say. You might as well go ahead and just.
We were dating for about 6 months, and I had put on some weight prior to meeting Keontae. Like I had a traumatic, like a life experience where I hadn't really been going to the gym or exercising as frequently or as much as I used to.
Right.
So I was probably to my biggest weight, like not having a child. Like when I had my daughter, I was probably around the same weight. And so I just remember being at his house one day getting dressed and he's like, yeah, you could lose some weight. And I was like, I could do what? Like I wanted to fight him because I didn't like how he said it. But more or less, it wasn't like a challenge or anything, but like, you know, with being African Americans, I would say we are already predisposed to hypertension, diabetes, high cholesterol, our eating habits. All these things are things that we're predisposed to. And I think that what he was trying to say in a nicer way was that, you know, we can be more, I would say, involved in leading healthier lifestyles. And so from that moment, I at least started going to the gym a little bit more and being more conscientious about what I was putting in my body because I don't know, it didn't really take him, but it was just more or less like, I want to like what I see in the mirror as well. Absolutely. And I want to be able to walk up a flight of stairs and not feel like I'm gonna die. Like it was more like that, but his approach, he obviously, if he doesn't like what he sees or if he sees that I'm falling off, he will say something.
Okay. All right. Very good. Very good. Housework.
What is it?
Housework.
Housework. I think we came to a reasonable compromise in that area.
Okay.
In which, you know, we both agreed to find it in a budget to kind of offset, you know, the amount of work that it takes to keep the house probably, you know, in a pristine or really good condition because we both work hard. But I think that we talked about it. We were transparent about the issue and we addressed it.
I got it.
Yeah.
I got it. I like it. Last thing. Intimacy or the lack thereof.
I was waiting for that to come.
And that's not me. That's not me.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, I understand it. I understand it.
And I'm not asking y'all to discuss that. What I am saying is that some people, you know, first 6 months they still honeymooning, and then after that things just kind of fall off. And normally what we find is that things will fall off in more than just one area.
Right.
So if my time management isn't working and the money is not right, the house not clean, and my spouse is gaining weight, it just kind of throws the whole intimacy piece, throws it totally off. So we don't have to spend no time talking about that. The last thing, I know I said that was the last thing, but the last thing on the list, do you all think that you can be everything to each other? Because some relationships fail because they realize that I'm just not able to be everything. At some point, I can't be everything for you. I can't be spouse. I can't be mentor. I can't be coach. I can't be confidant. I can't be counselor. I can't be housewife. I can't, I just cannot do all of that. So that causes problems because people may have some unrealistic expectations.
So, I mean, I guess I'll go. I think that, again, in kind of knowing who Janine was before I married her, her being kind of transparent about her expectations of me, and even kind of actually living it and going through, the almost 4 years that we've been together, I think that I can be. I know that I can be. It's not even really that difficult unless, I start doing things that I wasn't doing, or start changing after the 4 years that we've been together. So yeah, I would say yes.
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay. What would you all say? Oh, Janine, go ahead.
I want to respond to that real quick because Keontae already mentioned we got married at like 39 and 41 years old. So at this point, I feel kind of like if I wasn't prepared to be everything that he needed to be, and vice versa, that we probably shouldn't have committed to a marriage because we went into the marriage saying that we were gonna be each other's everything or make the attempt at it. So I don't know. Being at this age is kind of like you have a better picture, I think, of what a married life, because we were living together before we got married, or at least we was very transparent about our needs, our wants, our expectations, and being married. And your counseling was very helpful with actually putting some of those thoughts to pen and paper.
Very good. Very good. Well, I will tell you that I have been extremely excited about our time together. I have been excited about watching y'all as you all, it's funny because you never really know when people are watching you. So I just want you to know that we have been watching from afar and up close. And we're really excited about what's going on with y'all. So people can actually say that, I can make it through my first year. You all are prime examples that if you just do the work, that, you all will live in bliss. So I'm excited. I so appreciate you all coming, sharing with us on Marriage Monday with Dr. Derren and Lady Chalon. I do want to say to all of our viewers, our frequent viewers, and if this is your first time, if your marriage is in trouble, the email address that you can connect to us, hello@drderren.com. Send us an email. We will be more than happy to kind of assess where you are and work with you as you try to save and work to just kind of keep your marriage together. So, Mr. and Mrs. Hazelton, the pleasure has been all ours for you all spending this hour with us. Thank you so much. And if people have questions, can they connect with y'all on Facebook?
Yes, thank you for having us.
People have questions of our 1-year-old couple. If you have any questions, you can connect with them on all social media. All right, y'all. Thank y'all so much for joining. Y'all enjoy the remainder of your evening, and we will be in touch.
Thank you for having us. Good night. Love y'all.
Love y'all back.